We're back with Action Heroes LA and our second half of best films of the decade, our favorite films of the decade. Who are we to say they're the best films?
Right,
they're just the ones we liked.
And it's only the ones that we've seen.
Right, yeah, there's stuff we haven't seen. Why don't you scoot in a little bit, Peter, because you're kind of squeezing off camera there. So, Hamilton, what do you have next on your list?
The next film, Laurie, and you've seen this film, I don't know if it's another one of those films no one's heard of, or a lot of people haven't heard of, but I should say called The East.
I have seen The East, yeah.
With an actress by the name of Britt Marling. Yeah. Britt Marling, for me, was like maybe one of my happiest discoveries personally for this decade. She was a stockbroker, and then she became for whatever reason she quit being a stockbroker, became an actress and filmmaker. Every film I've seen, every production I've seen her in where she had anything to do with the scripting or anything has been excellent. She has a film called Another Earth, which came out in the early 2010s, I think. That was like really like for me. It's a film about a girl who finds out. Well, she lives in on planet Earth, and she finds out there's an alternate parallel Earth, and it comes into our orbit, and she is somehow chosen to go to the alternate Earth to.
The MCU's been doing that for years.
Oh.
But not like this. Not quite like this. I don't want to give anything away. That film is excellent. She has another film after that called The Sound of My Voice, which was really... I can't pick one over another. They're all excellent. I highly recommend these films. And then The East is a film about eco-terrorism.
Yeah.
That film really should have gotten a lot more attention. It's great. I highly recommend it. It definitely was in my opinion, one of the best films I saw in the last 10 years.
Good movie, yeah. It's an underrated filmmaker. You know, I mean, you don't hear anything about her. I listen to podcasts about what do you call it, with cinephiles and stuff, and I really haven't heard them talk about her at all. So.
And she's a good actress too. That's the incredible thing is she's talented. She could just be an actress and she'd be talented. She's been in films by other filmmakers. She works with this filmmaker, this director by the name of Zal Batman Leach. I know that's a funny sounding name, Batman Leach. But he's really good too. I don't know why he hasn't produced more work. But they seem to work together. They also have a 2-season miniseries or TV show or whatever on Netflix. I think it's called the OA I think it's called the OA or the AO or something like that. I highly recommend that as well. I haven't seen all of the episodes of either season, but what I've seen was good, and I always kind of expect good things from anything that Britt Marling's involved in. I also want to just add that she tends to make films that have science fiction type themes. So that again, for me, is like the cherry on top. You know, you don't see that too often anymore. People making science fiction films that are actually entertaining and intelligent at the same time.
All right, Peter, you got anything comes to mind for you?
Well, two films, Black Klansman.
Yeah.
I thought was excellent. And the thing is, I went in knowing very, very little about this movie, but almost within the first 10 minutes or less, I knew that it was Spike Lee movie.
Right.
Because there was a signature part where the guy, Washington,
John David Washington, who plays.
He walks up and he kind of looks up, and then he starts patting his afro, and I said, "That's Spike Lee. That's the Spike Lee. You know, that's his
You're right.
deal."
That's a good point. I never thought about that. Like, who else? What other filmmaker would put that sort of thing in their film except Spike Lee?
That was the first movie I think we reviewed on our channel. And we did it twice, I think, to test it out. We were trying to figure out how to do this thing, so we did 2 takes of that. But very good movie.
That was a very good movie. But I really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I liked that mainly because I used to around that time is when I started venturing into Hollywood, and you could drive like that in Hollywood because there was just
on the freeway.
It was
even on the streets, you can just whip around on the streets.
It's impossible nowadays.
There was no one.
In fact, how they film that is baffling to me. It's just really,
And the radio, what was on the radio
stations,
not just the some of the DJs, because you can easily just go, but the banter, the way everything was said, and then if you look in the background, you saw old Hollywood. Some of the stores that were there, everything, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm in Hollywood. And so and everything from the dirty feet to
you always have to bring that up. Damn.
What is that?
The feet. No, on the
okay, I got you.
In the movie
I didn't hear what you said all the way the first time. What was it about that?
It was that time.
That time period, people used to walk around. Remember, they used to have signs in restaurants that said "No shoes, no shirt, no service," because people used to walk around all funky and without their shoes on.
Right.
Yeah. Why are you trying to eat? So, come on.
Well, when we did the review before, my thing was I was born at the end of '69, so for me to see that film was interesting because the whole Tate LaBianca murder kind of overshadowed my early childhood growing up in the 70s, and I always heard about it, but just seeing a film that actually took place in that era, right around that time, and seeing LA from the perspective of someone who obviously loves that era and loves LA was really interesting. And then I do remember growing up in the 70s and kind of seeing post 60s, life after the 60s. So and even the whole thing about the dirty feet, I can relate to that, even though I didn't live in that time. So I know what you're saying. It was kind of like a freer time, maybe. It was I guess you could say more innocent time. I guess that was the whole point.
What was so interesting too is that in the 60s, especially towards the end of the 60s, but I mean, in the beginning and then towards the end of the 60s, the 60s were, for lack of a better word, it was a horrible time because blacks, we were trying to be able to vote, better jobs, and we weren't taking it anymore. Then there was all of these assassinations, and so we were looking for, when the hippie movement came in and this free love thing, it was like, finally we get to relax. And then as we were relaxing and everything else, then boom.
Exactly.
These murders hit. Yeah. And it just shocked everyone.
Yeah, I definitely think, like I said, I grew up post Charles Manson murders or Tate LaBianca murders, so I grew up in the era of the chaos after. But it was interesting to see that everything was that was the summer of love too. So it was like he captured that well. Yeah,
that movie just it really stuck with, I think, all of us, because I don't know if you're from that era or you grew up in this area. There was something about it you just really could connect with. So.
Yeah, there was, and I think in the movie it showed the innocence. It showed the innocence within the chaos. It showed Hollywood, and it showed attitudes of Hollywood, and things like this, and which is a lot of things that are still going on. But just how it was, or if it's not how it was because I wasn't in Hollywood, it all felt right. So I think Tarantino really captured it well. And even some people, some relatives who are a little bit older than me and stuff, they're going, that's exactly what I heard on the radio. And you can almost tell it wasn't a recording, so I don't know what he did, but it was a well done movie.
I agree.
Well, I just wanted to, I don't want to go into, there's some I want to, honorable mention. They didn't make my top tier list, but I'm hoping one might be on your list. I mean, I don't know. Is that on your list?
Yes.
Okay, so I won't even. But there's
Definitely.
a couple movies, a couple westerns I really enjoyed. Slow West and Hell or High Water, which is more of a modern day western. I thought were really good. Don't want to get into it. We don't have enough time. A couple of documentaries, 20 Feet from Stardom and The Wrecking Crew, both about the music industry, about people like the unsung heroes of the music industry. I don't see. What else I might have?
I like. I really
Stars
like
Born
that.
was
Stars
good.
Born was good, yeah.
I want to see if I had the Breadwinner for an animated film that I don't think a lot of people saw. I was luckily dog sitting for some people who got screeners, so I was able to go through.
Wow.
I missed that dog sitting job because I used to get to see all the screeners because they would get me around Thanksgiving time when everything was coming in.
Right.
But, Breadwinner was a really good animated film, kind of gripping. It wasn't Disney. It ain't a Disney movie, that's for sure.
Right.
Get Out. I don't know if anybody's going to have Get Out on their list.
Definitely, yes.
Definitely. We've mentioned Us already as a favorite of the year.
Get Out was one of my favorites.
And then I want to go into, I'm going to say, Star Wars The Last Jedi. I still stand by it. I don't care what anybody says. Okay? But the movie I want to really get into is Whiplash. It's Damien Chazelle's, I think it was. You haven't seen Whiplash?
I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, this movie.
I heard it was good.
And it might be the musician in me because it's about a drummer and him. He's in he's learning at it. He gets into this elite jazz conservatory to learn jazz music, and his teacher is just a monster, and it just crazy strict. And just the mind fuckery that he does on this kid, and it's kind of like that dynamic of when is it a good coaching, when is it good coaching, and when is it abusive and stuff, and and for somebody to drive you to be at your very best and stuff, and that line. I love this movie, love it. He went on to do La La Land, which everybody was up. Famously lost the Oscar after it was thought to have won it, but Whiplash. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Right.
Definitely check it out.
Speaking of Ryan Gosling, another film I have on my list. It might not be a film a lot of people saw, but it definitely. I mean, people know about this film. It's called Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling. It was basically a story about these two people who fall in love, and then it follows their whole relationship all the way into them having a child, and then the dissolution of the relationship and everything. But it was just the film itself was, I thought, really.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Okay,
it's not.
I highly recommend this.
It's not
film.
the Woody Allen movie. It's not a Woody Allen movie or something. It's called. No, that was Blue Jasmine. Okay.
I wish I could remember this filmmaker's name right now, but he did another film afterwards with Ryan Gosling called In the Pines. I'm gonna mess it up. I'm sorry, but I wasn't as impressed with that film. But I really liked Blue Valentine. I saw it in the theater, and I saw it with a small crowd of people, but for whatever reason, a lot of films I like, let me just say, a lot of films I like don't get major attention, but I stand by all of these films when I say I highly recommend them. So, yeah, definitely. Ryan Gosling, I think, is a really talented actor, but my biggest gripe with Ryan Gosling is he has to be in the right film. And I think this was really the right film for him, the right kind of role for him. you know, he has that thing where he kind of just stares and he's I saw him in the last what was it, First Man? Did you guys see that?
I didn't see First Man. I wanted to, but I didn't get around to it.
I couldn't get into him as an astronaut playing Buzz Aldrin or whoever it was.
Yeah.
Or was it?
He was being Ryan Gosling as an astronaut. So
okay.
Yeah, that's my thing about him is he's a great
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, he's talented, but I don't know his range. I don't know, but yeah, he's talented definitely.
All right. Any other ones you before?
What was I think? Well, no, that's I didn't.
Because I've got two left.
Okay.
That I
well, go for it.
And one I know you're gonna. God, these two I can go back and forth on. I think I'm gonna go leave my top one for last and stuff. But Mad Max Fury Road, and I had sat you down and was like, you got to see this movie. And I wish I would have seen this in the movie theater though, because it was just the practical stunt work, the visual, a good story, good fun story. I typically didn't like the Mad Max movies because I don't know, I can't stand Mel Gibson. And for years, I couldn't stand him, and now I know why. Wow. Years later, I discovered why. But, like the first Mad Max movie, I was okay with it. I liked him in Gallipoli. But I'd never really cared, but this movie just blew me away.
Right.
I was so impressed. Maybe because Charlize Theron was a central character, and just, I don't know, maybe I just appreciated that more. And then, who was it? Tom Hardy took over the Mad Max role, was great in it. Just a crazy, fun, over the top, beautiful, just action movie that that teaches you is like, you don't need CGI. Please cut down on the amount of CGI you use in movies and try to do stuff as practical as you can, as long as it's safe and things, but just a great movie.
Well, I was really glad you sat me down to watch it. I had no plans of seeing it. I was not a big Mad Max person.
Yeah.
Even though I love cars, I just
didn't care.
Just didn't do that. But that was a good movie. The cinematography was great. The stunt work was great. I love the props, just everything, because none of it looked like it looked like they were filming this movie as it happens in the future,
and that's something to say, because you're a guy, you worked in props and movie props, and you build movie props.
Yes.
So,
so
that's...
if it doesn't look proppy, I love it.
Yeah.
Right. You're right about that. I saw the original Road Warrior film, and I thought this was like, wow, like this is crazy. He's doing the same filmmakers making a continuation from that same world he created in that previous film. But yeah, you're right. Everything looked incredible. Like, you're right. It didn't look like a prop. It looked like, on a grand scale, it looked incredible. It looked like believable and legitimate. Yeah, you're right. I enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road as well. You guys, I definitely want to mention this film. You
once
sort
you
of
hit your
mentioned
next
earlier.
one.
I definitely want to mention Dope.
Yes! Yes!
This film really surprised me on every level. I hadn't really seen anything else by Rick Famuyiwa.
Famuyiwa,
yeah. And I mean,
St. Bernard's High School.
Yeah, this was like a love letter to Inglewood.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I feel like, but I saw this film with people who weren't from Inglewood, and they really loved it. So, I mean, it had a universal appeal, but it was extra special for people who grew up.
There's my thing again going on. So we got the other camera going. I'm not gonna worry about it. But yeah, Dope. I have that on my kind of second tier list.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of that movie.
Yeah.
I guess Rick Famuyiwa, if we can pronounce this right. He's an alumni of my high school. Not the same years. He went there after I did, and He also did the movie The Wood as well. So his trip, this is his second tribute to Inglewood. But what I really appreciated about it, the characters in that movie reminded of us when we were kids.
Right.
You know, these kind of like, you know, we weren't. Inglewood was known for like the gang culture and all this stuff, and we weren't part of that. We were like nerdy kids,
right.
You know, wanted to go to college.
It's
you know,
another side
into
of
sci-fi,
yeah,
and all kinds of
it's
stuff.
another side of Inglewood life
and
you never see
and
or hear
I was
about.
just really, he exposed that. It's like, yes, this was us growing up, you know.
Yeah.
We weren't boys in the hood.
Yeah.
You know, we were nerds in the hood.
And it was a hip film. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just everything about it. The music, everything was well done.
That's a well done movie. I do have issue. There's some comic moments in it that I thought they were, for me, I don't like kind of like that type of cheap comedy and stuff, but you know, but a lot of people do, so who cares? But overall, it's a fun movie and it's a good movie.
But I would say even the cheap comedy for me smacked of authenticity about the subject. I mean, growing up in Inglewood, I agree. I don't necessarily like indulge in that myself, but I know like everyone I know is that way, and so yeah, that's real. Like that's a realistic. Portrayal of life in Inglewood, you know.
Yeah. I was just saying.
Well, one movie, I don't know if you've seen it. I know you didn't see it because I tried to drag you to it and you was like, let me go. Good Boys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I saw that.
Because I was...
Yeah. I know you really like that film. Yeah.
You saw it a few times.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like...
I enjoyed it on an
certain,
entertainment
like,
level.
adolescent comedy
it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of. There's a certain,
I think I have a problem, y'all, with like kids doing like adult humor and stuff. I don't know. Like,
I'll be right back here.
I think that was my only real issue with it. It wasn't that I didn't like it, but I couldn't just like go free with it and just like, you know, not feel like it was kind of weird, like, you know, all the sexual humor they were putting into it and the characters doing, you know, whatever. It didn't feel like real kids to me. It felt like some adult's version
kind of putting their words into it.
Well, see, I loved it. I loved it because of that. But I also loved that they took the black kid and made him the nerd.
Right. I thought that was interesting.
You know.
Right.
And the situations I found to be as real as it can get, because not that I ever sold a sex doll to some guy or whatever, but some of a lot of the plot, I've been there, and I was going, oh my God. Like we used to ride our bikes. There was 2 or 3 of us used to ride our bikes to Mattel. And go dig in their trash can to get toys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
Wow!
I remember having toys.
Did they stop doing that, or
Mattel moved?
They started locking it.
Well, first they started locking the gate.
Yeah,
you couldn't get to the trash cans.
I remember we had like the little toy guns, and one would be one side would be orange because you just have the parts. You find an orange side, like an orange gun, one side of it, and a black one. You put it together. It's like I got a whole toy gun.
Oh yeah!
That's funny that you mentioned. I could see how you could relate that to watching that film and those characters. Yeah. You all.
I've got one left. Do you want to? How many you got left?
You know, somehow my list is messed up. So we mentioned Get Out.
Yeah,
we've already talked about Get Out.
Get Out, great movie. Yeah.
I really want to mention this film Nightcrawler. I don't know if you guys saw that with Jake Gyllenhaal.
No.
Nightcrawler. Wow. Okay. I don't think it was an obscure movie, but for whatever reason, I think people saw it, and whoever saw it, they really liked it, but not enough people saw it. Maybe it's about this sociopathic character and his rise up the food chain or whatever of LA life, from just some drifter to like who's some drifter collecting scrap metal to he finds a hustle videotaping news and selling it to the local news stations, and it's really good. Like Jake Gyllenhaal is excellent. He's another actor I really like. everything I see him in. End of Watch is another film, I guess, that was in the 2010s. Everything he does, I think he puts a lot of effort. He puts his heart into it. But this film in particular really resonated. The script was really tight. It's entertaining. If nothing else, anyone who watches this movie should be entertained because there's a lot of stuff that happens in it that everyone can relate to. You know, so I thought it was interesting overall.
All right, yeah. Cool.
I highly recommend it.
We got a lot to go catch up on. So I got my final one. Peter, do you have like your top movie of the decade, or was it Endgame, or was it anything that just like really just?
I don't know. I still think my top movie would be Endgame.
Yeah.
Although God, I see his face and I can't think of the movie nor his name. Played in Gran Torino and
not Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Uh-huh.
What was that where he was smuggling dope?
Oh, right. What was the name of that movie that came out like last year? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can't think of the name. The Mule.
The Mule.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I tend to like Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I'm not a Clint Eastwood politics person.
No, not at all.
But he makes some very, very poignant movies.
Yeah, and we just saw Richard Jewell too. All of us,
yes.
We managed to see that. We didn't do a review of it. So,
no, we hadn't done a review of it yet.
But that was, you guys enjoyed that. There was some stuff in there. I was kind of like, some of his politics were creeping in a little bit, but I didn't think it was over the top or he was trying to hammer away any certain particular point at all. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, that's one thing in any film,
politically, I'm saying.
Especially films where they're trying to push a narrative.
Right.
I don't care what narrative it is. Don't push it.
That's what I mean when I say just stick to the story. If the story is good, you don't have to over politicize your message. And I think that a lot of filmmakers make that mistake.
The Hate You Give is one of those films that I.
Oh, you have your
really
decade
like.
ones, yeah.
Yeah,
that can be on a decade.
Yeah, and so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree, Peter. I didn't see The Mule. I saw another film by Clint Eastwood a few years ago called Gran Torino. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I've never seen it.
But that's another really good film to check out if you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, Richard Jewell, I liked it. I didn't think it was political at all. I thought it was like a story that needed to be told about a character who we all heard about, but like I didn't really know his whole story. So I was glad to, and I like the actor in that film.
Yeah.
Like
he was good.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, all the actors were really good in the film. Yeah.
But now. Just because I didn't see it until 2020, but a movie that actually came out at the end of 2019, and that is Uncut Gems.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
I thought it was a good movie. I thought the payoff was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and so that actually boosted the movie. There was a couple little things that when we review it, I'll kind of say, oh, well, here's some things I didn't particularly care for or I kept staring at. But I thought that was a really well-made film.
Yeah, totally.
About a person's life,
I think for me, I had never heard of the Safdie brothers. I hadn't seen their other films. I think Adam Sandler was the perfect person for that role, maybe because as messed up as his character was, you couldn't dislike him, you couldn't really hate him. Mm-hmm. He wasn't an evil person, and
no, he was just messed up.
Yeah, and Adam Sandler played that perfectly.
Yeah.
Like well balanced, and I really liked the supporting actors. Like I really liked Idina Menzel. That was another person I had never really seen before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard people talk about her.
Go.
Yeah, I heard.
No, but yeah,
I didn't know she was
she's
an
a
actress.
big Broadway actress. She's been on like Tony Award winning.
Yeah, I think her performance was understated because it was so subtle. Like she's playing the role of this wife who wants to get out of this horrible marriage that's sort of self-destructive.
They have kids. You have to put up with them.
Yeah, and you can see it. You can see it in
Yeah.
her face and her eye. You can see the way she played the character. Like I told you, Laurie, like she looked like she was once really beautiful, and like all of that had been sucked out of her in this marriage.
And you know what I liked about it too is that they dove a little bit. They put a little bit of that out there, the Jewish lifestyle, but nothing was forced on you. It was
Exactly.
here's this, and
Exactly.
you're going, wow.
That's good that you mentioned that.
You
actually.
learned a
You
lot,
picked up on it.
and you said, okay, this is how this works. No one was mean. If anything, they were driven.
Yeah.
And so
Like
you
even
said,
the hitman is like, well, we got to get our money back, so we got to do our job.
Yeah.
There wasn't like that sneering evil. I'm just evil to be evil kind of thing.
Right.
Right. I don't think there was anybody like that. They showed the underbelly, the nasty life, but here's good parts in it.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, and these are jobs,
Right.
And here we have this level, this level, this level,
Exactly.
And still none of that was, well, let me show you this. No, it was just, this is just,
That's a really good
life.
point. What you said
Kind of
about
a slice of life movie about
Yeah,
this kind of.
and I felt like it was something I haven't really seen in movies too much. Like you said, the whole Jewish aspect of the story was, and the fact that it was on the Diamond District in New York, or it took place on the Diamond District.
I heard they like film down there too.
Yeah, I mean, there's like little
kind of
details,
like
when you see like the rappers on the wall in the background, and they got like a picture of, like Slick Rick with some, with I think Adam Sandler or someone. It's like there was a sense of authenticity to everything in that film for me.
Well, was this our Uncut Gems review? We just
Maybe because we did. I just want to talk about this last film. Somehow my list got messed up. I think I erased some stuff.
You want me to go
Go
my last
ahead.
one,
Go ahead.
and then you can kind
Yes.
of wrap us up with your
Definitely.
last one. Well, my last one is the Florida Project. Which
I like
is,
that film.
Yeah, Sean
Yeah.
Baker, who, if you haven't seen his first film, Tangerine, which I really
Was
appreciate.
that his first film?
I think it was one of his
Okay.
first ones. Which if you're a young filmmaker out there and just like thinking, I won't make anything until Hollywood discovers me. This guy did Tangerine on iPhones. So
That's right.
You have no excuse. But I really
Right.
kind of what I liked about Tangerine, I don't mean to get into Tangerine as much, is they filmed it along a stretch of Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood that I used to work. And it is where all the it's about transvestites, and that's
Right.
where they used to hang out and everything. It was just like, oh my gosh, I know all those spots, and I've seen those ladies down there and everything. But anyway, the Florida Project is about these poor
God.
poor
I
kids.
never knew. Tangerines is a metaphor for transvestites because it's obviously an orange and something else.
A Tangelo, I think, or nah?
No, but a tangerine is a
Mix of what?
It's a mix of.
It's a mix of something.
It's like a paradox almost, or
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just being.
the light bulb went on.
Oh,
Yo.
goodness.
But-
the street light over here.
Yeah, the
But I want to
street
get
light.
into the Florida Project. It's about these poor kids that live in these ratty hotels and motels just outside of Disney World in Florida, and kind of their lives they live. It's a really great movie. It's a really great commentary on like the wealth divide in America, and kind of like these people living kind of like unseen but out in the open and stuff. And there's a rawness to it. At times you're like frustrated with like the mom character and how she's this horrible mother and all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can see she was just a young kid who didn't come from anything, didn't come from like anything great, didn't have education or anything like that, who got pregnant and had this child and really loved her kid too. So, and was just doing everything she could to survive. It's just a real movie. There's certain realism.
You're right, Laurie.
And
I think Sean Baker, he picks difficult subjects, but he doesn't make his films difficult to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think he understands how not to go too far.
He doesn't try to preach about anything. He's like, look, this is a segment of life, that's all around us, but we're kind of blind to, and we don't look at it. I just want you to look at it.
Exactly.
And
I agree.
There's a lot of films I go back and forth, but that one just kind of like hit me the most. I think
that film was playful too, and I liked how it was almost like everything you're seeing is from a child's perspective. So it was, there's like a magical aspect to it too.
There is,
Even though it's dark, there's a dark sort of aspect to the story itself. The child doesn't see that.
It really captured, like when you're a kid, these things, life is magical. You don't realize your circumstances are shitty, and this life is that tough. You're just thinking, everything is just great and wonderful and just a wonder thing. And I mean, and this kid, the little girl, I mean, she has the foulest mouth,
right?
You wouldn't believe, and it's not played. It's funny, it's sad, but it's not played for humor. Right. I mean, it's just a really well done movie, and just delicately handled. And,
right.
Florida Project, I love it.
Yeah, I agree, Laurie. I mean, that's the kind of movie where like you go see a movie and you don't know that much about it, maybe, and you're just hoping it's going to be good, and then it blows you away.
Yeah.
And to me, like that's a really rewarding aspect of movie going for me. The last movie I'm going to mention is the film The Revenant.
I've seen that, yeah.
I really like this filmmaker in particular, but I thought this was the best film.
Who was the filmmaker? Is it Inarritu or something like that? Is that
I can't say his last name. He's a Mexican filmmaker, the guy who did like Itu Mama, Tambien, Gravity, and Roma.
Oh, no, it's Cuarón.
Cuarón.
Okay.
Yeah, The Revenant. Again, I'm a fan of.
He did that? Are you sure he did that?
I believe he did it. I could be wrong.
No, so I think it's a different Mexican.
Okay.
I don't think it was Cuarón.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio. The whole thing with the transformation of his character from being almost like killed and maimed by a bear, and then almost like being reincarnated and coming back as a phoenix, at the end or whatever.
That's a beautiful film. Too.
Yeah.
It's kind of shot. That bear scene is intense, but a lot of it that's intense, but a lot of it, like I said, that end, that kind of like reincarnation, and there's just,
when he gets in that horse and and everything about it. I like the pacing. I like the supporting characters. I like Tom. I like Tom. What's his name? Tom.
What?
The guy who played Bane in Batman.
Oh,
Tom
Hardy.
Yeah,
anything Tom Hardy's in it,
yeah.
I want to see, because he's always consistent and he's always good. He always chooses interesting roles. Yeah. But I like Leonardo DiCaprio. I thought he carried the film well.
I didn't appreciate Leonardo DiCaprio until Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like, this guy from Titanic. Wow. He's in a lot of stuff. I mean, and I love Catch Me If You Can.
Right.
It's one of my favorite movies and stuff. Every time, it's one of those movies. Every time it's on, I love watching it. But I don't think I appreciated his acting ability and how good he is until this year.
I don't think I really appreciated Leonardo DiCaprio until like The Aviator, because I thought the same thing. I thought he was just some kind of
he's like the young pretty guy,
90s heartthrob, young actor. But no, he's every role he does, he gives it like a commanding performance. I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was almost understated. Like he wasn't really trying to impress you or anything. He just became the character, and I think that's what he's capable of. And he's entertaining. Like for me, it's all about, is this movie entertaining or not? If it's not entertaining, then I don't know. I've seen a lot of movies, and I've seen movies that want to be entertaining, but that's the thing. Can you entertain me? Can you make me believe that what I'm watching is interesting and worthwhile? And so like I like this film in particular. I thought The Revenant was it was all of the things I look for in a movie.
So cool. Yeah. So that's it for me. Peter, you got any last words?
Nope, that's it.
So that's the decade. Our favorites of the decade. If you have any favorites of your own, write them in the comments. Any we missed there?
I have like
you any honorable
3. I gotta mention 3. I'm sorry, I gotta mention these. These are on my secondary list. Go see Hardcore Henry. A movie called Slight. That's another movie. Everyone should see this movie. It didn't get any attention. It's about a ghetto hood magician. It's great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Last movie I would recommend is Wolf Children, which is an animated film. Yeah, like powerful animated film. I tend to like our animated films because they generally they put a lot more effort into the craft of the story and everything. And this film in particular really has it's a Japanese anime. Oh, okay. But it's. I
think you did. I did see that. We watched it at the house where they had the screeners. That is good. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Highly recommend Wolf Children.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was a good one. All right, we're out. We out.
We out.